Well, hello to everyone tuning in. My name is Courtney Hurst. I'm the Director of Arts Education here at the Center, and I'm happy to welcome you to Catch Up, where we spend some time catching up with our homegrown talent. These are artists who have all gone on to have some incredible careers in the performing arts, and they've all graced our Gallo Center stages too. So stay tuned, and let's catch up. Join me in welcoming the 12-year veteran of Broadway's The Phantom of the Opera, Modesto's native son, Jeremy Stolle. Known for his warm stage demeanor and energetic storytelling, Jeremy has headlined concerts worldwide, including 2 shows here at the Gallo Center. Lucky for us, he'll be returning to the Center with his concert No More Talk of Darkness during our 2021-2022 season. Yeah. Well, I'm happy to catch up with you now and to meet you. I don't think, I've heard lots of stories and have seen you on stage, but I haven't actually ever been able to talk to you. So it's nice to.
Oh, I love it. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Did you come to the last one? The last show we did, or 2?
I think it was the one where MCCA actually hosted you.
Oh yeah, that was the last.
Was that the most recent? Was that the last time you were here?
Yeah, that was the one where we had acoustic guitars and there wasn't much of a.
Yeah.
This next time is gonna be pretty crazy good. It's gonna be fun.
Fun. Well, why don't you let's dive into that. So you've performed at the Gallo Center twice before with your show, which I know that you tour across the country anyway.
And the world, actually.
The world. So have you been able to take this time to kind of like reimagine what you want for the show? Are you adding, changing, subtracting?
Yes. We had a lot of time to think about the show. What I want to say is we stopped. We just kind of set everything down because at one point everything was canceled and nobody knew what was going to happen and what was coming back and what not. And we all stepped away for a minute. We just put everything down for a month and a half, 2 months, and then walked away.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started doing little videos online and started just kind of playing with a little bit of music. And then things picked up again and started booking, and venues started rescheduling our shows. And that has led to actually a pretty large gig in the summertime where we're revamping the show. There's going to be a big opening number. There's a couple more original songs. We're beefing up the show. We're going to tighten it up, and we're going to take all the best things that have happened in the several years that we've been touring and put them all into one big show that'll be a lot of fun, I think.
Well, that's great. I know that that's something that we'll be looking forward to then as well, because I think we have you booked for January of 22. I think
that is correct. I actually should be flying out this week to do the Gallo Center.
To do the original booking.
Yeah, this is the week, I think. But
man, doesn't that just kind of blow your mind that we're in the middle. We are in the middle of our season. There just is no season.
No season. Yeah. Gone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you talked about some original music there.
Yes.
Have you been spending some time writing and that too?
Just recently I've spent some time writing. I finally gave in to the fact that I don't do well without humor. So I've been coming up with some funny songs, and I've been writing them down and having a good time. And luckily I'm pretty proficient in music, so I've been taking songs and making funny songs about Broadway, but turning them into different music styles. So the latest one I've just finished is a Stevie Ray Vaughan blues style. It's called Everything I Know About History I Learned from Hamilton Blues. So talk about how when I answer questions in class, it's wrong because it's from the musical, not from the book, and it's fun. So that kind of stuff.
That's great. So just recently you started writing, and I know that you said you guys just kind of all stepped away from the show and all of that. Was that a good break? Kind of a forced break?
I think so. I think everybody has a different story. Our band, our band is all over the country. Like I use a tenor from Modesto named Joseph, and he's like Josh Groban's younger brother, and I just
Yeah,
love him.
yeah.
And,
I think I know who you're talking about. Yes, yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
He's fantastic, and he's so good in the show. And his family has their own band, and I think they've been singing together. They're concentrating more on their endeavors. And then my soprano has been overseas. Actually, she got stuck in because they wouldn't let anybody fly for the longest time. She's been over there tearing away, and my drummer and bass player have been doing other things. My drummer's been traveling, just going to little islands that don't have COVID and staying there for long periods of time. My bass player but he has a wine store in Connecticut, in Greenwich, Connecticut, and he's just been doing that. And it's weird to see what we all do when we don't have our group together. And so they've been doing their own thing. And then I brought up the idea of doing some music, and everybody just jumped on it. We all have our little studios in our home, so we make a track, and then everybody contributes to the full track of it, and then we make a little video and make a new song. And it's a lot of fun doing it virtual.
Yeah, so thank goodness for technology, right? And we've been able to like find new ways of using, I mean, even us being able to have this conversation, this is like business, meeting software, and here we are able to, have this conversation across the country too.
It's a little crazy. It's a new version. I have a feeling once we're in the clear that Zoom is going to be a naughty word to say. Like, call me on Zoom. Don't you do it. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So do you feel like you are kind of re-identifying for you what it means to be a performer and a songwriter and
I think stepping away for a while has really taught some meaning. I've been going at this for a solid 14 years straight. Since I had started in Phantom, I've not had a break. I've just been going, and then this was a forced break to step away and reassess what it means and gratitude. I mean, just pure gratitude of having the life I do and the job I do. I miss it terribly. And I think I didn't take it for granted very much, but I think there were times when I did, or I got used to it. And now I'm happy to jump back in, and taking a step away and then reassessing and going after what I've already done. I get a second chance at making it better. And I'm very excited about that. Mm-hmm. And all the little thoughts that have been going on in my head, I have time to develop, which is really cool.
Yeah. And what I think is also so interesting, for the performing arts, so for theater and dance and music, I mean, that is art that you create to share. I mean, not all art really is meant to be shared, but sometimes it's so hard when our performing art is meant to be really shared with an audience, and then all of a sudden either you don't have that audience, or that audience is very disconnected from you. It's just through a screen or a recording. And sometimes, I've heard that it's hard for performing artists to really appreciate their art when it's just something they do for themselves. And maybe even the break of where you're just able to spend some time with your music or your writing, and just appreciate that and for you, and something that you can do for you rather than sharing that with your audience.
Yeah, it's a little wild. Yeah, it becomes, you step back and do it for the love that you started to do it for, and not deadlines. And and ideas come because they're fun, and it's just something to do that day. It's kind of neat.
Yeah. So you said 14 years ago was when you stepped into Phantom.
I believe so. It was 2007. I think that was when it was. It's been so long. I've been at it so long. I don't know.
So for those that maybe aren't too familiar with your story and stepping into Phantom, do you just want to share a little bit about that with us?
Yeah, sure. I grew up in Modesto, obviously, and I was a substitute teacher at Modesto High School, and I moved on to New York to make it on Broadway as my dream. Yeah. And I pounded the pavement for a while, and I believe it was 2007, I got an audition for Phantom, and I had at the time I'd had it, and I didn't want to do the business anymore. And I actually said no to the audition. And my wife made me go because she said, "Why are we paying these kind of rents for
Right.
you to not?" So I went, and I was like, "Well, what do you want to hear?" And they said, "Music of the Night," and I sang it. And they said, "Why haven't we ever seen you before? Where are you from?" And I was like, "Yeah!" It's like, you have, but it was, but it was at the right time. The right people were in the room at the right time, and they asked me. It was an audition for a tour of Phantom of the Opera, and I got a call about a week later, and they asked me to not do the tour. They asked if I would like to be in the Broadway show, and I of course said yes.
Right.
And I just, it was a dream come true, and I I've loved it every second. And I don't want to do another show. Isn't that funny? I've done other ones. I've left for a little while to do other ones, but I don't want to. I won't do anything that jeopardizes me coming back to that.
To that show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's such an iconic show and such an iconic role, and now you experiencing it for, over a decade. Do you approach it different now than you did at the beginning, and why? And
Well, very much so. I have a decade under my belt, and I'm certainly a different man than I was when I was cast as a child. And I say that in jest, but I was a man, and
right.
um, I've learned a lot of things in life, and I've gathered more skills, and uh, I've been knee deep in the script for a long time. And yes, I found many things. And interestingly, stepping away for a little while, I found even more. I believe I'm more grounded in the music. It's not about what my managers and directors have asked me to do that week. Those are all missing from my head now.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can tell the story again, which I'm really excited about, kind of cleaning that slate, because doing a performance with 8 years of notes behind your head, it's a tightrope walk. It's fun.
Sure. So what do you do then to keep it fresh for you, and to keep it something, you want to make sure that experience that the audience sees every night is something new, and it will be unique to them, but how do you make sure that you stay in that mindset for you too?
Well, first, it's easy to be in the moment in a Broadway show because the energy in the room is outstanding. People have come from all over the world to be there, and that energy exists no matter how many times you've done the show. And it's really fun and nice to step into. Secondly, I always set a goal. There's always something to work on. There's always something you can do better. And I'll set a goal if it's even small. It's just something I'm working towards and I'm going at, instead of trying to repeat a performance or trying to keep at a certain level. I think that there's no end to how great you can be. So every time I approach it, there's a little more I can do.
Right.
And that includes even going back and reading the notes from the director from past times. And then you can go through Phantoms and watch the evolution of what decisions created when, and then they go back and then they go forth. And I've had the pleasure to sit in a room with Andrew Lloyd Webber and be told all the intentions and all the ideas that originally happened, him and Hal Prince, both. And it was the most amazing experience ever. And that remains in my head. And then with my directors and assistants, we kind of create those wishes in that show on stage. And then it's always a goal to do. Plus it's a world-renowned piece of gold. It's musical history, and I get to be the guy who does it, and it's so cool. And I have such respect for it that I would be mad at myself for messing it up or not giving it everything I have every time I do it.
Mm-hmm. Do your Christines kind of inform how you play the role too, like a different Christine?
100%. Yes. The Christines are very, very different. There's some Christines who are just really strong, solid characters. They're a strong woman who won't be messed with, and there's some who are very shy and meek and need care, and they have that different character approaches. Um, During the show that obviously flip-flops, so they all take that journey, but their approaches are subtly different, and it's really neat to see how that works. And some girls like to live in the moment, and they like to see where it's going to go and just live that journey. And some women want it, your left foot is on 4 and it's on this word, and you would look forward and your fingers here, and they want it just, they're so strict about how perfectly and how meticulous they are with their show. So as a secondary phantom or understudy, I have to learn 3 to 5 separate shows because these girls are very different. We do the same thing on stage, but some of the intentions and the way they go about it, very different.
Very different. So then, it's the show is running regularly, 8 shows a week. How much time do you have? Like, do you have rehearsal time if you are stepping in, and how does that work in a schedule when the run is happening?
Yeah, that's a good question. We are in constant rehearsal. The understudies are at the building for many hours a month. It used to be up to 12 a week, but we've rehearsed quite a bit, and we're all very prepared. I'm not now, obviously. I've stepped away for 9 months, but at heyday, I can be called 10 minutes before the show and do it perfectly because I'm so rehearsed and so ready at all times. So we do, and it's a nice way for the understudies to run through the show. We all have 3 and 4 parts each. We're pretty versatile in that way, because we just need the coverage.
Right.
It's a living show that gets sick sometimes, and it has problems, and we all need to cover, and we do.
How big is the cast?
I think we're at 34. I know it takes 200 people to run the theater, and that includes people out front and back and the night maintenance. But I think the cast is 34. We have 4 stage managers during the show. 1 left, right, on call, and in the office, and we need all 4. Mm-hmm. Some run on 1. That's why I say that.
Right.
Ours is
right.
significant.
On 4. Wow. Yeah. That is a big show. Yeah. So in addition to what you do on stage live performing, you're a recording artist. And
yes.
you've got some music out, and we talked about you writing songs and some original music. Is it different being a recording artist and being in a studio and working on music that you're going to record, and how do you prepare for that differently than rehearsing for a live show?
It's very, very different.
I would imagine it's like film versus live theater, right? So it's probably so regimented and strict and ordered for recording.
Yeah, it's very much like that. In film and recording, you get a million shots at it, right? And you can pick what you want. And on stage, it's one and done. And what you did is how you did. However, on stage, there's an energy, a performance energy that exists. And in the studio, it's all technical. You're in headphones and in a foam room, and the sound is not what you're used to, and you're really just listening to yourself. And I find myself pulling back on the tempo because I'm listening to myself so hard instead of just performing the darn song. Yeah. I have to stop and tell them, wait, let's do it again. I was listening again. And you really have to pay mind to give an onstage performance in a booth with nobody watching. It's really
right.
It's its own thing. It's really
not always getting like all of the music right. I mean, are you hearing like the full accompaniment always in your ear when you're singing?
Yeah, you can hear what you want. Some people prefer to just hear a piano going on. Some people want the whole shebang. Some people just have it off one ear so that they can hear themselves in the room. Some people want excessive reverb on so that they feel comfortable singing. Some people oversing, undersing. It's really a strange art, and that's all dictated by the size of a microphone too. That's an actual instrument as I'm learning, and it's it takes finesse to understand what kind of microphone you're singing into, and how and where and when you can push and when you can't.
Sure.
It's its own art, and it takes a lot of hours and a lot of money to learn. Crazy.
Right, because of all of the equipment and technology that goes into just capturing the sound and then mixing it all, and
yeah.
And all
Well, luckily I don't have to do that, because I have people for that. But it's fun because I've done a bunch of stuff now, and I go back and look at what I did in my first album, which I'm very proud of. But I would change so many things. I would like, oh, I would do that differently. And yeah.
So how many albums do you have kind of out and available right now? Or
well, I have my first album in the moment that I did a few years back, and it was just kind of favorite songs that through my life I liked to do. And then we did a live album in China of the Unreachable Stars band, my band. And then I've done a bunch of singles that have, for whatever reason, promoted, or just I felt like doing the song. I covered actually a Panic at the Disco tune at one point, and that actually did really well on Spotify. A lot of hits. I'm part of the Hunchback of Notre Dame original cast album.
That's right.
That was wild. That was a budget, man. That was fun. And now I'm doing another one. I think I'm gonna do another album of the songs I write, the silly, funny versions and offtakes of the musical theater music that I tend to.
The much needed humor, right?
Yeah.
Will we be able to hear some of that in the show that you're bringing?
Yes, most certainly. Yeah, I plan on. Modesto is the best audience by far, because they're my friends and family, and been there a few times, so they know what's up my sleeve. So I got to keep inventing things for them. They're gonna come and they're gonna be like, all right, there are jokes, or let's see what you got this time. And I've got and hopefully I think I have some new fun stuff for them.
That's great.
Yeah.
So anything else you've been doing to kind of keep yourself busy or entertained? Have you rediscovered old hobbies or anything like that? Like, what, banana bread was a craze, sourdough. People were like rediscovering roller skating.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
I started biking for a while. I started planting flowers and taking care of plants. I'm not very good at it yet, but it's getting better. My house is real clean. I've actually been able to, interesting. I mean, I guess it's not a hobby, but I've been able to catch up on TV shows and seasons of things that I've always wanted to see, because I don't have time otherwise. But now I've got a few minutes. Right. Graphic arts, some little computer skills that I try to do. I've been doing. It's keeping busy.
What TV have you found entertaining lately? What are you binging? What do you like?
I just last night. Well, I finished Bridgerton. That just came out. It's a really good one. I feel like it's Downton Abbey 90210 is the way I would like to describe that.
That's great.
But I finished Outlander. I'm behind on that one, obviously. I caught up on Fringe, and what was the one before that? Oh, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh my gosh. So it's I got a lot of TV in.
I know. I think all of us have. Yeah, revisiting like old stuff. I mean, I've even watched so The West Wing, which was on, I think, when I was in high school. Which I remember like my parents watching, and I loved it, and it has become a new favorite of mine, and I feel like I could just watch that over and over and over again. Yeah,
it's a great show. They didn't need that one. Yes. The West Wing's the drama version. You say if you want to laugh in the same respects, to try Veep, because it is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I love that. I love your orchids in the back, by the way. I don't know how you are keeping those so fantastic, but I cannot keep those alive.
Well, they're not real.
Oh, well, that's how you did it. There you go.
That's how we did it. So I'm actually sitting in the principal dressing room of our Rogers Theater.
Oh,
Yeah, and it was redesigned recently. So maybe,
yeah, new paint, beige before.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And new furniture. So we had a donor who kind of helped give us a little bit of a refresh in the dressing room. So yeah.
That's the maestro's room, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. It's we're rediscovering places in the theater too, because it's so empty and dark, and which is so sad. But we were able to experience spaces that we don't normally. Normally it's in a room that is open and available.
I got to use that room for the symphony, I think. Oh no, not for the symphony. What was it? Did I use it? No, I didn't. I actually never got to use that room because I always give the nice room to the soprano because she tags along with 5 men all the time. But she gets, I give her a high five when we pick dressing room. When we share the other one, she gets the good one. That's right.
That's funny. That's great. Well, any other special projects we should keep an eye out for? I know that we're all just really excited to see you and a year from now.
Well, I'd just be on the lookout for new songs. I did do a few cover tunes. I call them the COVID captivity covers. We did a few songs, and there's some good ones. I'm real proud of them, actually. One of them actually came out so well, we're going to put it in the show. We did Oklahoma, but we did it as a bluegrass band, and we got a fiddle, and we're jamming, and it's fun.
I love it.
The COVID captivity covers, that would be fun on YouTube.
And we can find all this on Spotify and
that would be YouTube. Spotify has my songs. You can find my albums on any place. Obviously they're all free now. This is the funnest thing ever. Right. Just listen to music, put it out there, and people hear it. I love it.
Yeah. That's great. Well, I just want to say thank you for taking a few minutes to catch up with us and share what you've been up to, and we're really excited. We're bummed, that we're not having you here this weekend, but
it's a bummer.
Yeah. A year from now, we have you officially locked in the books, and we'll get to see you back here at the Gala Center. And we just continue to wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.
Okay. Have a great time.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Nice talking.